Get over here!
Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. I am back, and I have a chalice.
Ahora mejoraré la luz vital de vuestro interior. Esperaré a que me traigáis más cálices.
I just realized that the cherubs are, like, have peeled back even more of her arm.
Traedme cálices o viales, que los llenaré con mi propia sangre.
So are we basically just siphoning her of all the blood she has? That's going to make the end of this little spiel quite interesting. So, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Let's Play Blasphemous 2. This is episode 8, I believe. In the last episode, we explored around a bit more. We got some more treasures, we got some more objectives, and today we are going to start making our way up here to the Crown of Towers. Before we tackle that, however, I want to tackle a couple last bits of business over here back in the hub, because I have some guilt I want to get rid of.
¿Deseáis entonces limpiaros de vuestra culpa?
Por favor, señor.
Sea, pues. El sacramento ha sido completado. Ahora, marchad con sosiego.
Vaya con Dios, señor. Alright, so that pretty much tackles that spiel. There are a couple of other things I have right now that I believe I can, give to maybe someone. I think I gotta go back to the carpenter for a moment, because I do have that remembrance, that I,
Mis
got.
manos alcanzan la virtud mediante la obediencia y la constancia. Empiezo a sentir que se entumecen como si estuvieran sumergidas en un mar gélido. Se alejan. Ahora pertenecen más al milagro que a mí.
Hand over memento, yes. The remembrance of Castula. And now we have Castula.
He aquí una nueva pieza para vuestro retablo.
Okay, so yeah, open altarpiece favors. Let's actually check that one out. So Castula, where are you? Here you are. Castula increases the damage inflicted when the guilt level is low. Oh, wow. So it's just a general buff as long as you keep your guilt up. That night, the old painter was visited by the strangest and most disturbing of dreams. I believe this is the same, yeah, this is the same story that we've read before. Alright, so, yeah, we can, I'm going to go ahead and keep this right now. Let me actually look at the resonances. Yeah, Cierzo's favor and Jalok's favor. Ruego al Alba is getting some strength, and this increases the source of any elemental damage, so...
Que las manos del milagro os guíen, penitente.
Yeah, that's going to, like, up the power of this weapon, which arguably is my favorite, but will at least give a small buff to these two for the elemental properties. So, I am okay with this. So, we're going to head back to the warp point, and we are going to make our way up the Crown of Towers. So, thank you guys for joining us today, and for today's sermon, I want to tackle something a bit interesting. As you guys saw in the beginning of the video, we tackled the verse from Colossians, which is basically talking about being good servants to God, or if you want to put it another way, filling yourself with kindness, with humility, with patience. All qualities of that you know, people should generally have for all intents and purposes. And while everyone knows the, you know, the usual suspects of the Bible, people like Moses, people like Jesus Christ, obviously, you got Lazarus who rose from the dead and all that. Right, the elevator. But I actually want to take the opportunity today to go over a couple of stories in the Bible that celebrates the unsung heroes. The ones who are mentioned in the Bible, but not a lot of people necessarily talk about. And being an unsung hero is not necessarily a bad thing. Because, you know, being a hero or being a good person should not be about... like, you know, the recognition, the fame, the glory, or whatnot. Okay, cool. It should not be about the fame, it should not be about the glory, it should not be about the recognition, right? Which, like, you know, in a general sense, like, should be a pretty obvious thing, like, in the grand scheme of things. Okay, I gotta get used to this. It's been a little while. But yeah, I want to take this opportunity to kind of, like, talk about some more unrecognized heroes, in the Bible, which I think are pretty interesting. So, oh man, dude, this music. It's gonna be nice talking about these heroes, these unsung people of the Bible while listening to this track. This is a great track, by the way. And I'm gonna start easy with this one, because one character from the Bible that not a lot of people talk about, and I think more people should talk about, right, is Joseph. Anyone who knows the story of Jesus knows about Joseph. And for all intents and purposes, let's be real for a moment. Joseph should probably win a medal for being, like, the greatest stepdad in history. Like, let's take a moment to recognize the fact that, like, Joseph was put in a spot that not a lot of people would like to be in. Particularly the spot of, oh, hey, you are now going to be the father of who is essentially God. But the fact is, like, before he even knew about that, right, he was put in a position where his wife supposedly cheated on him. Like, think about that for a moment. Like, he was slated to marry Mary, but then he got the news that, you know, Mary was pregnant. And that's not exactly something you want to find out about the person you're about to marry, right? Especially if the kid isn't yours. So, most people would be very mad about that. In fact, I would not put it past Joseph to be mad about that kind of thing, right? Like, let's be real for a moment. However, instead of getting mad about it, instead of, like, you know, trying to be, like, going scorched earth, instead of, like, putting himself in a position of, oh, like, you know, my wife cheated, so I'm gonna go ahead and, like, you know, let everyone know that what kind of person this Mary is, what my wife-to-be was. He didn't do that. And I'm going to get into more about that in a moment. We got a quick verse here. Liviana of the Blighted Blades launches a barrage of sharpened blades that inflict miasma damage. A verse dedicated to the sleeping Infanta, whose words split open the skin in festering wounds. Oh, it's the same thing that the other guy did to us. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Oh, right. Oh, wow. Okay, dude, I just saw there was a flame effect on that weapon. That's really cool. So, going back to Joseph, right? When Joseph found out that Mary was pregnant, he was obviously concerned. In fact, like, I wouldn't put it past him to know that he was probably quite mad. He practiced patience, he practiced kindness, and he was like, yeah, I'm upset about this. I understand, like, this is, like, not something I wanted to find out, but he aimed to, end things with Mary quietly. He wanted to do it in private so as she would not be shamed publicly. Weight of sin. Oh, right. The thing with Regualalba. He wanted to keep things, like, civil with Mary. Is this where we were supposed to find that out? Huh. But yeah. He wanted to keep things civil with Mary. He wanted to break things off privately. He did not want this situation to paint her reputation any worse than it probably already was going to. He didn't want any part of that. So he did the mature thing and broke it off quietly with her. And that's a very mature thing to do. Or at least he would have until the angel came up to him and basically told him about Jesus, about the fact that Mary has a virgin like pregnancy, which is like a miracle in and of itself. And he was like, okay, you know what? I understand now. I am going to trust this prophecy. I'm going to trust God. I am going to trust that Mary did not betray me. So I will go ahead and stay with her. I will accept the burden of raising the child of God himself. I will do what I must. And before we continue, I'm going to look at this. Vitrified Lightning Bolt. Slightly increases resistance to lightning damage. Okay, so this is probably something you want to combine with Sarmiento. Or Sarmiento. Again, I gotta remind myself here. Okay, Ruego, Veredicto, Sarmiento, and Centella. Thank you. Cameo that holds the final death rattle of a terrible storm. The small mirror inside was enough to contain the lightning, keeping the memory of that night alive forever. Alright. I'm going to stick with the miasma blades for now. So yeah, for all intents and purposes, Joseph doesn't get enough credit. Because I know the common joke is, you know, the stepdad. Like, he's not a stepdad. He is the dad who stepped up. But for someone like Joseph, that's actually a very apt description. Like, Joseph took the responsibility of being a dad to literal Jesus, and he accepted that responsibility at the risk of his own reputation, knowing that, you know, some people were probably gonna have words. Some people were probably gonna be like, oh, how could you marry this woman who was pregnant before she was even married to you? How disgraceful is that? No, he took the responsibility, he stepped up, and after everything that happened, he moved countries to avoid persecution. He, like, traveled the wilderness in order to keep his family safe, and after Jesus grew up, he raised him as his own, taught him carpentry. Joseph needs to be celebrated for being the stepdad who truly stepped up. Like, seriously, I would not be surprised if we could call him the greatest stepdad in history.
Esta corona de bellas edificaciones fue construida para poder estudiar el brillo sobrecogedor que hacía intuir la forma de una basílica que una vez unos fervorosos devotos atestiguaron haber presenciado. Nunca nadie había podido ver aquello de nuevo. Hasta ahora. El milagro nos bendice a todos al revelarnos lo que ha estado oculto, invisible y prohibido. Echad un vistazo a nuestro escaparate.
Okay, I have got to know who the voice actor is for this guy, because damn, his voice is handsome. Like, legit though. Scorched Lily increases resistance to fire damage. We're gonna have to come back for that. Lo siento, señor, pero no tengo el dinero. Pero más tarde. Ahí te voy a encontrar más tarde. I'm noticing Ruego has greater damage when you're grounded. I'll have to remember that. God, this music is so good. Okay, what do we got here? Ah, gotta race for it. Let's do this. No, 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 no! Ah, damn it. Alright. Let's, yes, there we go. Get out of here. Awesome. Okay, now with those guys out of the way, we should be able to make it. That's fine. And there we go. Beautiful. Alright, so. now we're gonna go on to another character in the Bible that I want to talk about, and this is a character that I feel... I'm just gonna say right now, the next couple of characters, I feel are really, really good examples of characters that more Christians should keep in mind, particularly in the subject of feminism. Now, I know some people might raise an eyebrow at that, but bear with me, alright? So, the first character I want to talk about from the Bible that I think is an amazing example of, like, someone who is a really, really good role model just in general, it's Ruth. So, for those unfamiliar, Ruth, obviously from the Book of Ruth. Hang on a sec. There we go. Ruth from the Book of Ruth, is a woman who, for all intents and purposes, right? She's a Moabite woman who ends up marrying a Judean immigrant. I think his name was Malin. Don't exactly remember, but, the whole idea of Ruth is that she was a woman who married an immigrant, and through her faithfulness, her kindness, and just her general pleasantness, she was able to move to Judah. And the idea of her whole story is that she is someone who, for all intents and purposes, is very ordinary. But, in a way, she's, like, a really, really good example of someone who, like, is just a regular, ordinary person, but she can do some extraordinary things. And a lot of her story revolves around just the idea of being kind. Like, being kind, being accepting, and just generally being very patient with everyone she meets. And this includes people who might not be, like, from the same realm as you guys are. One topic that, like, is kind of like a sticking point nowadays is, like, the idea of immigration. And that's been a sticking point for, like, years. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, immigration has always been kind of a sour spot for a lot of people. And, yeah, when it comes to, like, just Christians in general, that's been a bit of a sticking point there, too. Fun fact, Ruth, the Book of Ruth, and just, like, Ruth's story as a whole, is just the idea that, like, you know, in the context of the Bible, it's God's plan working through people who, like, you know, put themselves, like, might find themselves in, like, very, like, unfortunate situations, unfortunate circumstance. Ruth's situation was pretty disagreeable for the most part. But she made it work. And she made it work thanks to her kindness and her mercy. She was a very remarkable woman. And a lot of it had to do with just how agreeable she was, and, like, she was very charismatic. She was a very, like, very kind, very, like, very accepting person, very patient. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, she found faith in God, found the goodness in life, and found, like, the positives of the circumstances, no matter how bad things got. A lot of Ruth's story does teach us, like, to, like, never give up, even in the face of, like, insurmountable odds. But also just the general fact of, like, you know, no matter who you're dealing with, be kind. Be kind, be merciful, like, be patient, be humble. And that's Ruth in a nutshell. Like, she was a remarkable woman. And in the same vein of remarkable women, another character that I think doesn't get enough credit from the Bible is Esther. So, in the completely other side of the spectrum, right? Esther is pretty much the opposite of Ruth. Ruth was a poor woman who made the most of her life. She, like, made a remarkable difference in her community and, like, with the people that she was with. Esther was a very, very rich woman who would eventually become the Queen of Persia. And the way she did it was actually really, really interesting. Because a lot of the intrigue with Esther is that she employed some very, very questionable tactics. Some of you might be familiar with the term femme fatale. Yeah, Esther was a femme fatale for all intents and purposes. She used her beauty, her charm, her political intrigue and intelligence, and took a lot of risks within the within the kingdom of Persia to defeat her enemies, to defeat the enemies of God, and elevate her kinsmen for all intents and purposes. She became the Queen of Persia for a reason, not because, like, you know, not just because of the fact that, you know, God willed it, but taking God out of the equation for a moment, she became the Queen of Persia, the most powerful person in Persia, and because she freaking deserved it. And she did it through means that not a lot of people would deem kosher, I guess you could say. Like, Esther was, like, the very definition of a biblical femme fatale. She wasn't alone, though, because, let me tell you, another character that definitely deserves credit on that regard is Mordecai. So, Mordecai was Esther's ride-or-die confidant, and I'm going to talk about him in a moment. What do we got here? The Unfinished Lullaby. Fragment of a lullaby written by a mother intended to soothe the cries of the innocent one. Sleep, my child, sleep. Don't cry, my voice sings to you. Okay. Okay, so there's something up here, but I can't grab it because I don't have whatever, like, I'm supposed to, like, utilize here. Unless that's, like... Let me try something. Okay, no. That doesn't work. It was worth a shot. Okay, so that brings us all the way back down here. So we want to continue maybe that way. So, Esther was not alone in her exploits of Persia, because she was joined by her guardian, her confidant, and depending on the story being told, because there's a couple of different, like, interpretations of Mordecai's character. Was she Esther's cousin? Was she Esther's, like, guardian? Was she Esther's, or was he, sorry, was he Esther's husband? Different sources tend to disagree on this. But one thing that Mordecai was, he was Esther's ride-or-die companion. Like, he did everything to ensure Esther's success, and holy smoke, did he do it well. He was actually the reason why Esther and King Xerxes at the time were able to find out about a plot that was conspiring against them. Hang on a sec. I'm trying to see, like, if there's anywhere else. I'm gonna see, like, if there's anything going on down here. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, like, if anyone, like, if Mordecai will tell you anything, is that, like, he was actually kind of, like, a little bit, like, nervous about the awkward circumstances that were going on within the whole thing with King Xerxes and the plot to, like, you know, take over Persia. But, okay, another part of the Unfinished Lullaby. I think? I'll have to keep that in mind. The thing with Mordecai that, like, really, really fascinates me, personally, right? Is the fact that Mordecai, could have, like, you know, probably could have taken, like, the credit for some of the things that happened, during the plot of, during the, plot of Persia. He could have taken a lot of the credit for, you know, like, keeping Esther alive. He was celebrated as a hero, as a matter of fact, in the Kingdom of Persia. He was not afraid to give all that credit to Esther, because he well knew, he had the wisdom to know that Esther was the real reason as to why the Kingdom of Persia persisted. And he was not afraid to, like, you know, give her the credit for it. And what do we got here?
Vivo de nuevo dentro de esta ingrata y fría envoltura metálica. Vivo en esta cárcel con la forma de lo que hace mucho fue mi cuerpo. Vivo y siento que estoy dirigido por fuerzas que socavan mi albedrío. Vivo, aunque al cerrar los ojos, en la noche íntima tras mis párpados. Sigo muerto.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so Lesmes. Incorrupt. Oh, okay, I see. Okay. I see now. I see. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, I can block that. Let's take a flask. Okay. Sleeping Infanta. What? Sleeping infant? Wait, why are we fighting an infant? What's going on? Whoa. Okay, let's switch to Sarmiento. I think I know what I can do here. Okay, no, that's not working. Okay, it's good thing Ruego can block those. Okay, jump. Okay, so far so good. Ooh, okay. Good. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's what I like to see. Yes. Whoa. Okay. What? Lesmes and Infanta? Oh my god! Both of them at the same time? Oh my god. Take a flask. Wow, this is so cool. Okay. Ooh, good, 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 good. Oh, wow, I can block that! Oh, man, that sucks. Whoa. Ooh, Jesus. Okay. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Ah! Okay, I can block this. Yes! Ugh. Last flask. Okay. Ugh. Okay. Let's mess this down. Sorry. That was a really cool boss fight. Wow. I was not expecting any of that. That was sick. I wonder if I could have avoided some of it with the unfinished lullaby, now that I think about it. Because it said sleepless infant. Oh.
Sed testigos de este velatorio antes de mi travesía final. Mi cuerpo me ha sido devuelto al fin. Soy ahora dueño de estas carnes, de este temblor, de esta agonía. Qué dulce el dolor cuando es el nuestro. Penitente, que venís a atestiguar el milagro. Helo aquí, pues.
Pero el milagro, que concede y arrebata su gracia con inescrutable albedrío, vio empañada su voluntad por el influjo de tan larga ausencia. Errando en su recién creada obra, conferiría a aquel hijo, tan propio como ajeno, la terrible condición de la deformidad. Como una enfermedad contagiosa, se extendió por nuestra tierra haciendo crecer sus semillas malditas, cual heridas en una espalda flagelada.
El moribundo día declina ya su luz celeste, haciendo cerrar mis ojos. Abra el milagro sus negras puertas, que yo marcharé donde espera este terrible sueño, que nunca despierta.
Yep, right on cue.
El testimonio completo os ha sido revelado, y la figura contrahecha del testigo ha bajado finalmente. Las tres grandiosas figuras de piedra de la familia se han humillado ante todos nosotros. Elevad vuestra mirada, pues la deslumbrante belleza de la zona superior de la ciudad del Santo Nombre os da la bienvenida. Ahora marchad, que la duda no deje en vos su desapacible impronta.
Okay. That was a fun fight. Now, what happens here? Oh. Oh, you know what? I think I see the fog down there, so something tells me I'll be able to drop down there sometime later. I assume. Can't say for certain. As of now, though, there's still a couple places over here maybe I can explore. I'm not entirely sure. But, now we have this. The elevated temples. Which I can get to from here, supposedly? I'll have to look at that later. Okay, yeah, there's definitely something all the way over there, which I don't think I can get yet. Otherwise, I'm going to fall to my doom. I'm going to check this area, just to see if there's anything more I can explore before heading back to the main hub. Deal with these jerks. Ow. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what's over there while we continue our little stories over here. Okay, so moving on to another unsung hero in the Bible. Though this one might be a little more popular, but one that I feel needs to be addressed more often because, you know how, like, Christians, or, like, conservative Christians and whatnot tend to have that stigma that, like, you know, the wife should be beholden to the husband and all that jazz? Well, I got someone, that I think more people need to acknowledge. Before that, however, I'm gonna grab this Scorched Lily real quick.
No nos quedan más artículos, pero nunca se sabe qué puede aparecer en esos caminos. Volved más tarde, pues, penitente.
Alright, so what do we got? Scorched Lily increases resistance to fire damage. Flower with a blackened stem. Ancient tribute found at the foot of a tree growing in a cloister of a convent until the tree, convent, and lily were consumed by flames. Alright. So, another, figure in the Bible that I think is a really, really good showcase of, what women were capable of, especially during biblical times, is Deborah. Deborah, comes from the Book of Judges, and she was incredible. Like, Esther was amazing for, her, role in the, her role in the Kingdom of Persia. Deborah, as a matter of fact, was one of the major judges. And by judges, we're talking, like, a military leader. Like, for all intents and purposes, Deborah was a general, and was one of the key figures during the Israel wars, during the Israel war with the Canaanites. Deborah was an amazing leader. Like, she led her people to take the land of Canaan, and she was, like, incredible. Like, I'm not entirely sure, like, the entire story, but it is a very prominent one, right? I see what I gotta do. Beautiful. Javeda to the poison of jealousy. It is a chant. Invokes a memento of poison, which inflicts miasma damage all around. Chant inscribed with pen and hemlock in a poisoned royal tone. Every night, the ancient monarch sat in the darkness to inscribe his envy in bile-soaked letters. Let's give it a shot. Why not? Okay, so there's that one. There's a couple more areas we can explore. I'm gonna head down for now. But yeah, the thing about Deborah that I feel like a lot of people need to acknowledge is that for some reason, for some God's forsaken reason, people have this stigma, like some people out there have this stigma that women should not be in leading roles. It's why we haven't had a, like, it's probably, I'm willing to bet it's one of the reasons we haven't had a woman president of the United States, like, pretty much ever. What do we have here? The Punished One. Is that a statue? I believe it is a statue. There it is. The Punished One. Increases the strength of Ruego al Alba. We have Viridiana and Trifon currently active. I'm going to... Yeah, you know what? Let's remove... Oh, we can't do it right now. But yeah, I think I want to replace Trifon with the Punished One. So keep that in mind. I wonder if there's anything else over here, but we'll keep this in mind. Awesome. But as I was saying, right? Like, for some reason, like, there's that stigma of, like, you know, women shouldn't be in leading roles. There were plenty of women leaders in the Bible. As a matter of fact, we just talked about Esther, and Deborah was, like, one of the greatest ones. She was the only female judge, major judge during that time. And she was also considered to be a prophet. So, anyone who says that, like, you know, women don't belong in leading roles, they absolutely do. God himself put, like, women in leading roles, and Deborah was one of the greatest ones. And relating to that, Deborah had a man in, like, under her for all intents and purposes, and that was Yale. Yale is another unsung hero because, he played the major role during the war, because he was the one who killed Sisera, the Canaanite general. And the way they did it was actually remarkable, because if I recall correctly, the story goes that they snuck into camp while it was pitch black. It was dark. It was, like, absolutely, like, pitch black. There was no light whatsoever. And they doused the torches to keep it that way. All the while, Yale goes right up to Sisera while he's sleeping in his camp and drives a stake through his head. And eventually, he escapes. After I believe the name was Barak. No. He escapes with Barak, who, like, I believe Barak was also another man under Deborah's jurisdiction. So, like, that was, like, one of the more crucial moments during the Book of Judges, where, like, it definitely, like, solidified the flow of, like, history regarding the Israelites and the Canaanites, which is a very prominent thing. And yeah, like, I believe, like, people should, like, look to these characters, like, as great examples of, like, people who did what they had to do. But practiced patience, practiced humility, practiced, like, you know, the acknowledgement that even though maybe they're not gonna, like, be recognized fully for their accomplishments, they're still playing a very, very important role. In fact, like, I want to, like, the last person I want to talk about is someone who's, like, the very definition of humility when it comes to, like, you know, understanding that, like, sometimes, like, you don't need to be the hero, you don't need to be the protagonist, you don't need to be the one to, you know, do the big thing or to accomplish the big thing, right? And that's Jonathan. Anyone who is familiar with the story of Jonathan will know that he essentially eschewed his right to the throne. Like, he basically eschewed his right to kingliness, because he, I believe, if I recall correctly, he was slated to become the next king after King Saul. However, rather than take that mantle, he instead was like, no, I have a bigger role to play here. I need to acknowledge what I'm doing here for the greater good. Oh, I see. So I essentially need to do this and then book it. I'm probably able to do this thanks to the Ash Ascendant, honestly. The Guide. This is another statue, I believe. The Guide. Here we go. Increases mystical damage. Alright, good to know. And it looks like there's something up there? Can I reach up there? I don't think I can. Oh. No, I cannot. So that's something I may have to tackle later. Or maybe I could. I'm gonna have to see if maybe I can go up this way. So yeah, Jonathan was like one of those figures who was very, very vulnerable. He was very kind. He was very open about his feelings, especially to David. And what essentially happened is that, again, he was slated to be the next king after King Saul, but he put that aside for the greater good. And he understood that, no, this isn't my role to fulfill. This is David's role to fulfill. And he willingly gave up his future prospects. Like, he basically, like, gave up, like, his future prosperity, his future, like, position. Like, he had it made. Like, he had his whole future set for him in the form of, you know, being a king. He gave that up because he knew that that wasn't his role to play. He let David play that role. And the world, for all intents and purposes, was better for it. And he understood that. And that's like that's a lesson that, like, I think a lot of other people do need to understand, that sometimes you don't need to be the one to do the big thing. You don't need to be the hero. But in recognizing that, you can be a hero in a very different way. The hero who was humble, who was, you know, essentially was like, I have my role to fill. I understand, like, what I have to do. I understand the duty that I have to perform. And sometimes that's, like, more worthwhile. One character that I really like from Fire Emblem, is actually a really good example of that, and it's Chris from New Mystery of the Emblem. Chris, was basically the Avatar character, and Marth, for all intents and purposes, like, definitely recognized, hey, like, this is someone who was there for me through thick and thin. He deserves all the credit. But Chris was like, no, Prince Marth, you were the one who was destined to be the hero. You are the one who like, you know, should be recognized for ending the war and, like, bringing peace to Arcanea. Chris went through history being unknown, and he was fine with that because he was perfectly happy in letting Marth take the credit. Jonathan, like, maybe not in the same vein as, like, you know, stopping an army or anything, but Jonathan basically understood that that was basically his role to play. And, he let David, be the one to fulfill his role fulfill the role of king, during the time. Which I think is, like, very, very humbling, very, very, respectable. And again, this is, like, these are, like, just a few examples of some of the unsung heroes in, the Bible. There's a lot of others. My personal favorite is Mordecai, because, like, I like the fact that Mordecai was, like, humble enough to recognize that this isn't my role to play. Or, not so much that, but more like, I have my role to play, and I, like, was that ride or die partner to Esther. And, like, I am more than willing to play that role for Esther so that she can do what she needs to do. In a similar vein, this is gonna get a little personal, but, like, I was friends with, someone in Philadelphia. Her name is Sade. And if you wanna talk about someone that I truly adored.
La parte superior de nuestra ciudad, la que una vez fue inalcanzable, insondable, ha descendido. Incontables leyendas relatan los secretos que lo alto ha escondido y custodiado durante lo que se asemeja a una eternidad. Es la propia ciudad la que se postra ante tantos feligreses, invitándonos a presenciar desde más cerca el nacimiento del Hijo. ¿Qué santidad nos aguarda ante nosotros? Echad un vistazo a nuestro escaparate.
The ill-fated cord increases resistance to miasma damage. We have the tears.
No nos quedan más artículos, pero nunca se sabe qué puede aparecer en esos caminos. Volved más tarde, pues, penitente.
What do we got? Embossed... No, here we go. Ill-fated cord. Increased resistance to miasma damage. Braided cord from which hangs a worn bronze medal with a worn unidentifiable crest. Alright. So yeah, here it is. We made it to the city. So let's see how this plays out. Is there... Oh, okay, that allows us to go, I believe that allows us to go, back, the other way. Which, now I think about it... Have we been to this? Oh, okay, yeah, we have. I see now. Alright, so yeah, let's go for a little bit longer. We still got some time left. And let's see what the start of this area is. But yeah, as I was saying, right? I had a friend in Philadelphia. Her name is Sade. And I'm just gonna say to you guys right now, I adored this woman. She was amazing. She was incredible. I'm not shy in saying that I had a major crush on her. She helped me a lot while I was in Philadelphia because, like, I was a fish out of water in the city. It's not something I'm used to. I'm not a fan of the city. I don't like being there, but I had to go there for, like, university, right? I cannot tell you, like, how many times Sade has helped me out with a lot of things, and I, in turn, helped her out. Was part of the reason because I had a major crush on her? Yeah, no, I'm not, like, shy about admitting that. And she knew that. Like, she absolutely knew that I had a major crush on her. But she, like, we never necessarily, like, went anywhere with it, particularly because she was taken at the time, and I understood that, and I respected that. And I will say, she was not shy of teasing me about it, that's for sure. But over the years, even like, with that, like, context, we... Oh, geez, okay, that is very, very strong. I may, start using... Yeah, there you go. I believe that was miasma. Let's see if, this can, give us... Oh, okay, yeah, this actually is a little bit more useful here. Whoa. Cool. Okay. God, this music. But yeah, Sade was someone that I feel like I had a Mordecai-esque relationship with. Not in the sense of, like, you know, I was her guardian, rather, but, like, I was someone who would like, you know, ride or die for her, cause, like, she was amazing. I loved her to death. But even though it never went anywhere, she and I never, like, lacked any sort of respect for each other, and I am thankful for that. And yeah, like, I doubt she's watching this video, but if she is, Sade, still love you, still adore you, and I'm happy that you're in my life. Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm glad things didn't go, like, in hindsight, I'm glad things didn't go anywhere between us, because otherwise I, like, you know, wouldn't have eventually come around to, being with Amber, and I would not trade that for the world. So, it worked out in the end, and that's another thing. Like, you know, things work out in certain ways, and I am thankful for that. I do not regret the way things played out between us. And besides, she's also, like, very, very happy with someone right now. She has a really, really awesome partner, who I have yet to meet in person. I still gotta do that. The reason we haven't met yet is because she lives in Japan now, so that is a bit of a thing. Okay, this is interesting. Huh. Okay. Cool. Let's figure this out. Oh. Cool. That is neat. That is very neat. Yeah, I'm digging the way they, like, utilize these weapons and the abilities. That's really cool. Yeah, Veredicto is really good for dealing with these guys. particularly because of that knockback. Okay, I want Fuego for this. Ow. Okay, wrong button. Dang it! Come on, come on. Okay, let's... Oh, jeez, okay, twice. Okay. Got a little bit too overzealous there. Okay, I'm taking a flask here. Nice! Oh, the timing, baby! Yes! Oh, we got an encounter here? Okay. There we go. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I was getting a little too, overwhelmed there. How far back is that? I think I still got time. Yeah, let's keep this going. I can make my way back there pretty easily. You know what I should be doing? I should be doing this. Okay, that animation there got a little messed up. Cool. Yeah, let's stick with Veredicto for now. So yeah, while we are wrapping things up over here, definitely let me know, guys, in the comments. What are some other unsung heroes in the Bible that you think are worth recognizing? Or if nothing else, like, tell me some other unsung heroes, just like, you know, in media in general. Because that is definitely something worth looking into. There we go. Cool. Ah. Nice. Lovely. Alright, let's try this again. Might as well take a flask while I'm at it. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it now. Oh, geez, that's so funny. I can just duck his thing. Awesome! And there we go. That's another Predieu. And I believe this is where we're going to go ahead and end it off, guys. We made a lot of progress. We are now going up the elevated temples. And, yeah, I had a good time talking about some of the more unsung heroes of the Bible. And just because you're an unsung hero does not mean you are not worthy of recognition. And to that, I say thank you, everyone, for joining me for today's service. Let me know in the comments what you think are some other unsung heroes in the Bible, unsung heroes in media in general, and, of course, for those of you who are, like, watching my playthrough, please let me know. Is there something I should cover? Is there something else I should know about this game that you think I should do before we get any further? Let me know, guys. I'm always down to engage in the comments. And yeah, just so you know, just because I don't respond to all the comments down there, I am reading them. And I really, really appreciate it. So, once again, I'm the Green Scorpion. This has been episode 8 of Blasphemous 2. Vaya con Dios, damas y caballeros, y nos vemos el próximo episodio. Que tengan un buen día.